If you've ever wondered how to make a very nice and good looking puff puff like this at home, then this video is for you. Puff puff is like one of the simplest snacks to make. Like, I feel like it's very simple as long as you have everything you need at home. It's it's one of the simplest snack you can make. Very simple. You just need your milk, your flour, your yeast and sugar. Basically, that's just it. So I first of all, I had to sieve the flour. I had to sieve the flour for dust and weevils and the rest. Then I added yeast. After adding yeast, I added milk. I now had to add milk. And then after I was done adding my milk, I added a pinch of salt. Just a pinch. You don't need a lot of salt. You just need just a very tiny pinch of salt. Then I added my sugar. This sugar that was inside this pack was not going to be enough. I felt like it was too small, so I had extra sugar left, so I added one more tablespoon of sugar because the one I added previously was not going to be enough. So now there's a trick in making puff puff that most people don't know. Use warm water. Don't use normal water, use warm water. The warm water makes it, you see that rising process that you have to cover it and keep. If you use warm water to mix it, you will not have to leave it for too long for it to rise. If you use warm water, you can just leave it for like 10 minutes, and trust me, your batter has risen. You don't have, some people will have to leave it for like 30 minutes, 40 minutes before it rises. Use warm water. This is just a trick that I want to tell you guys. Next time you want to make that puff puff, use warm water. Don't use cold water. If you use warm water, trust me, if you just cover it and keep for like 10 minutes, 10 minutes is even much, your batter will rise. You know, you need heat for the yeast to activate. So if you just use warm water, it's going to be very easy for you. You won't have to stay for too long and be waiting for like 40 minutes, and the rest 10 minutes your batter has risen. So after like few minutes, this is what we have. It's very good, and you can see how it has risen already. It became very nice. So what I did next is just to stir, to turn so that the air will come out of the batter. And then I went ahead to start frying. So I just added my oil. And one thing about puff puff is that puff puff is normally deep fried. You need a lot of oil. Puff puff is always deep fried. So I just put my oil. Then I started. At first, this oil I put this first time was actually very small. I didn't notice that it was very small. So you will notice that the puff puff wasn't, and I didn't even notice that there was no light. Like, the light was very low, so I had to increase the light a little bit. And my oil was not much. You can see how the puff puff was looking, and that first one I put was looking like it was flat or something. You get the oil I put was not much. Puff puff is always deep fried. Like, the oil should be above the dough. That's how you get in nice, perfect puff puff. But this oil I put the first time was not much, so I understood this. I just needed to just fry this first batch out because I had already started. I needed to just fry it, but trust me, it came out it still came out very nice. But my light was too much, the fire was too much, so I had to reduce it a little bit. And then this is what we have. Very lovely and nice looking puff puff. Look at how it is. Look at how it looks like. It looks very good and very fluffy. So before I now did this other one, this second batch, I had to add extra oil. I added extra oil to this particular batch before I started doing the second batch. So you will see how this second batch came out very nice, more than the first batch. Have you seen it? If you just put it inside the oil, it will just rise by itself. The second batch came out, you can see it floating on top of the oil, right? That is it. So if you're making your puff puff, please make sure the oil is above the dough. When you're putting it, it should be more than, like, the oil should be on top of the dough. That is the best way to get a very nice and very good looking puff puff. If you want it to be very very fluffy. So I made a mistake the first time. The oil I put was too small, so when I wanted to do the second batch, I had to add extra oil. And look at how it's coming out. So nice, so nice. Look at how it looks like. So this is your sign to make puff puff at home. Puff puff is very simple. You just need just few ingredients, and trust me, you've made this at home. This is your sign to make that puff puff at home today. This is your sign to make that puff puff at home today. Just try this method. Try the warm water method and thank me later. So we're all done. I'm just all done frying the puff puff, and so I just had to take it off the heat because I even had to turn off the fire, because if I left it there for puff puff, you don't even need a lot of heat. You just need just small, just little heat. You don't need too much heat, or else it will just get burnt. And this is what we have. Look at that goodness. Look at that goodness. Thank you guys for watching. Try this at home.